Good evening. It's your boy Lanye, 24 years free. Another episode for you. So this one, I want to talk about OLD FOLSOM, the second oldest prison in all of the state of California. So let me back up a little bit. I was at Chuckawalla Valley State Prison. The year is 2015. And they decide they're going to turn Chuckawalla into an all sensitive need yard. So I was general population, so I had to go somewhere. There were two prisons they were sending people to. They were sending people to CMC West, and they were sending people to OLD FOLSOM. When my number came up, I was going to OLD FOLSOM. OLD FOLSOM is up north by, I want to say like Sacramento area, for those who don't know. This prison is so old, it's ridiculous. The history of it is that the Chinese built it in like 20 years after slavery ended. It's like ridiculously old. Ton sized bricks look like some out of the pyramids. As a matter of fact, historically, when you died in prison at OLD FOLSOM, they didn't even release your body to your family when you died. It was a cemetery there. When they talk about you was doing a life sentence, you wasn't just doing a life sentence, you was doing your death sentence there too. So it's tons and tons of history there. So when I got my call that I was going to OLD FOLSOM, was not happy. And when I got there, I found out that the fucking place was haunted. They had over 10,000 deaths there, whether it was either suicides, assassinations and murders, or just riots. It was the history is littered. The ground is soiled with blood. And I didn't notice at the time, but I'm spiritually sensitive. So when I would sit in my cell, I would hear creaks and groans. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? I would go back. They had everything there was historically documented. So I could go back and find out who lived in that cell. I found out people had hung themselves in the cells I was in. And then I would hear movement in the middle of the night. What else am I supposed to think? The place was so haunted that it got into your spirit. And if you gave in to the misery, you was miserable. If you were violent, you were more violent. I fucking hated that prison. I wanted to get out of there really, really, really bad. But I was stuck there for 2 years. So I literally would, every time they would move me to a cell, I would pray over the cell. I asked the Catholic chaplain for holy water. I was not playing because that place was haunted. One time I had a dream that the dude told me, you gotta leave my cell. So I asked the dude what his name was in the dream. He told me what his name was. I went to the historical records. Motherfucker used to be up in that cell in like the 70s. He had killed himself too. The reason why I'm telling this story is because, you know, you hear about the violence in prison and nobody ever puts two and two together. You know, there is spirits that haunt these places because the men are miserable, men have violent, you know, possessions within them, and then they get into the soil, they get into the walls. And I didn't even know that until FOLSOM, because it was big 70-ton brick of the whole prison was made out of just giant stone. And there was spirits and haunting phenomena in that stone. I remember in the middle of the night hearing somebody playing handball and racquetball. There was nobody on the fucking yard. That shit is crazy. I remember they had 5 tiers. And I saw something come off the top tier and I looked and there was nothing there. Old spirits are still killing themselves in these old places. You know, it's the kind of thing that haunted me for a long time after. I remember when I was able to leave that prison, I could feel it pulling at me as I drove away. And again, this drove me closer to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because I needed help to get that off me. I needed my chi back. I needed my spirit cleansed after that place. Old Folsom was the worst experience in all of my prison. In all of my 24 years of prison, Old Folsom was the worst. Hey man, I'm just telling my truth. No extras. Please subscribe. If you like this story, I got more. If you want to hear something, let me know and I'll tell that.